Hello, everybody. The camera's over here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the show. I don't usually ever say that, but I am here with a special guest, my mom, Mary.
Hello.
This is my mom. We, at the time of filming this yesterday, saw one of our favorites, a living legend. He's right there. Well, not my mom is as well, but
Herb Alpert.
Herb Alpert. This is his first album. Sorry, you're in The Lonely Bull. This is debut on A&M Records, which he founded with his partner Jerry Moss. Herb performed at the Dominion Energy Center. Isn't that romantic? In Richmond, Virginia. And we've had this plan for a couple of months and went to the venue. It's your classic theater type venue. I think I looked up 1,800 is the capacity, which seems a little large from how it looked. But it was a beautiful place, historic venue, built in 1928.
Gorgeous.
And got there, almost a sold out crowd. There were a few seats up in the balcony where we were, but very respectful crowd, all there to see Herb Alpert, who was a mainstay in the 1960s and the 70s on TV, on the radio. He did all sorts of jingles. He did the Casino Royale, James Bond theme song. So it was an experience. Mom has been a fan for a long time, way back.
Not that long.
And she was a fan. You got into him in college, although you had an aunt who enjoyed him, right?
Well, we grew up listening to all the albums. So yeah, and it's just fun music. So it was a great concert to go to with my son. How many have we done?
Well, first time with Herb.
First time with Herb.
Well, my mom asked me a couple months ago to write down a list of shows, and I think it was definitely in the 20s, maybe the 30s, because we've seen a few people twice.
Yeah.
Together. She's seen one of my last videos was Bob Dylan review. I've seen Bob Dylan with Mom once, so I guess that doesn't count as twice. But anyway, we've done a lot of shows together. We have another show coming up this fall, which I will leave as a surprise because there could be another review with Mom if people like her. If not, we'll just.
That's okay. I have friends.
She does have friends, and she's a loyal supporter of the channel.
Yes.
But so we get to the venue, got there about 10, 12 minutes before showtime, but he ended up coming out probably about 7:40. The show supposed to start at 7:30. No opener, so it was just kind of like an evening with Herb Alpert. And what this was, it was Herb Alpert essentially celebrating now 61 years of his biggest album, Whipped Cream and Other Delights, which everybody knows that cover, especially in the record world. And he started this band. There's a great story on CBS that you can find on your own time that he did last year when he turned 90, because he is a 91-year-old musician. He kind of put together the Tijuana Brass as a new band with a bunch of really solid musicians that just backed him up perfectly. And
so tight.
They were very tight. And they just have kind of taken this tour now for the last year as I think it was billed Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass and Other Delights. So they played Tijuana Brass music and then a couple of Herb Alpert solo songs. But the songs sounded like the record. So when the show started, I'll let you describe how the show.
The show started with the lights went out, and then you had a black and white screen from the TV show What's My Line, and Herb Alpert was a guest on there, and so he signs his name on the blackboard, and then the band came out. It was so cool. I'll tell you what it felt like. When I was growing up, we had family videos that to watch them, you had to put them on the reel-to-reel projector. It was a big ordeal. We had to beg my dad, can we watch our family videos tonight? Because it took a lot of effort to pull out the projector and show the film on reel-to-reel. That's what this concert felt like to me. It felt like I was watching Herb Alpert's family video. It was just amazing because he does more at 91 than I do at my age.
Yes.
Well, let me say it.
She's never met Louis Armstrong.
Anyway, I didn't come here to be insulted. Anyway, his talent is unbelievable. But the way it was produced, to have his history of videos and TV shows, Johnny Carson, Anthony Quinn, they showed him dancing in Zorba the Greek. They were dancing on a beach together, learning a Greek dance. It just felt so warm and cozy that I was watching the way I used to feel when my dad would let us watch our reel-to-reel family videos. That's the way I felt. It was great. Because
they showed throughout pretty much every song, they had the screen behind him, which were showing clips of him on variety shows, guest appearances. They did a whole bit of the tune "The Brass Are Coming," which is from the album of the same name. So you had, Johnny. It was essentially like a cowboy themed video promo, and then the record itself is kind of a loose concept. I listened to it this morning, but you have like Lauren Green, who was from Bonanza. You had Johnny Carson. You had all these guys in cowboy outfits saying "The brass are coming," and then it would cut to Herb and the original Tijuana brass band and cowboy costumes, walking down ghost towns and riding horses
like real pros.
Yeah, Herb could ride a horse. He couldn't button a shirt though. There's a lot of chest hair.
Not necessary.
It was very, very cool to watch his life, and then to see him there at 91, which we should say, when he after this video intro that Mom talked about started, and they kind of said, "Here's Herb Alpert," he walks out dressed in this very slim blue suit. His hair's slicked back. He's got the trumpet, and he's kind of doing this little shuffle out onto the stage. Not a shuffle like he's feeble, but like he's dancing, like a little like kind of salsa rumba. When
he'd take a step forward and then he'd take a step back.
Yeah.
So
and they opened with this song, "The Lonely Bull," which is the first song off of, again, the first album. So I'm sure you know it. So a lot of these titles you probably don't know that's what they're called. And then you listen to it and you say, oh yeah, because they're used in commercials. They're used everywhere. And Herb tells the story that one of his deeper cuts at the time from Whipped Cream and Other Delights is a song called "Ladyfingers." And it became huge on TikTok. And he said now it has 4 billion streams because of TikTok just in the last year. And that's one that, the younger among you that are watching would know from TikTok. And so he played that, and there were beautiful paintings behind him that he had painted himself. He's a kind of an abstract painter. So he does that. He does other songs. He does Spanish Flea, which is a fantastic song. Toward the end, he did Tijuana Taxi, which is one of Mom's favorite songs, including the horn. And again, the band was fantastic. He had a 6-piece band. So you had Herb on the trumpet. You had a second trumpet, bass, drums, guitar, trombone, and then keys / vibraphone. So then they were all fantastic in their own right. And he told stories throughout.
With a very young voice.
Yeah.
I mean, he was not rambling. He had clear control of his memory and what he was talking about. It was just so cool. And then he would introduce a story, a memory, and then he would be quiet, and behind him the video would show of what was actually playing on TV at that time. He also played, what was the song he played when he was showing memories of everybody? Yeah,
throughout the show, he was talking about friends, and obviously at 91, most of his friends in the business have passed. He had a big collaboration with Burt Bacharach, Sergio Mendes from Brazil '66. He talked about him, and he does it was only about like a minute and a half solo version of "Smile," which Charlie Chaplin kind of made famous, and everybody's done it in the business. Yeah. But he was flashing photos of Burt Bacharach, Karen Carpenter, Sergio Mendes, all these different people that he's worked with in his career. For me, one of the big highlights was, I'll just mention it, "This Guy's in Love." It was just
so sweet.
That's one of the few, that was the big hit that he had that he was actually singing. And if you know the original record, you know that he and he freely admitted it. He's not known to be a singer, and he tells this story about Burt Bacharach having had, worked with everybody in the business, but had never had a number one hit. And he said that he went into the studio, laid down this track as like a demo, and went to the sound booth, and he said, all right, tell me what I need to do. And they said, leave it as is. It's perfect. And he said, but that's just the guide. That's just the demo. And they said, nope, we're going to take that, put the instrumentation that we need, and that's it. And it became Burt Bacharach's first number one hit. But she joked about, and then he sang it, and the crowd was singing. And
yeah, that was really sweet.
Yeah.
It was just tender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To hear the 91-year-old Herb with him at 31 on the screen. Because the way that they did it was the song started, the first couple of lines of him at 31 singing it from the video, and then they cut that out, and he starts as a 91-year-old singing it, and then is, encouraging us to sing along with him. But yeah, it was just a wonderful night. He did, again, everything you'd want to hear. Taste of Honey was fantastic.
It was really funny too, because as it was wrapping up, he said, this is my last song, and the audience all responded, with
like, oh
yeah, dismay, and he said, well, let's be real, it's not my last song, and I'm too old to go back and come back out and go back and come back out. So he said, we've got a few more songs to do.
And he did about 4 or 5 songs.
Kind of the encore while he was still sitting there.
Yeah.
Which suited me to a T. Because that's kind of a game people play anyway, to go back and come back. But people stood up several times. He got standing ovations, and it was.
And that's the thing. He
so good.
He sat for about 90% of the show, but it wasn't necessarily that he needed to sit per se. Like, it wasn't like he was, a feeble man. It was more like he was, just able to steady himself that way. But he walked himself on and off the stage. Well, he danced himself on and off the stage. He stood up for several of the songs. Again, when he did Smile, he was standing up, and you could hear a pin drop in the theater. And it was just a wonderful night. When we left, we heard the crowd. I heard several people say, that was great. It was so good. And a lot of people of different ages. I mean, there were people in front of us in line. There were some people in their 20s. I saw multi-generations in the crowd.
Which kind of gave us an advantage to get to the merch table.
Yes. Yes, it did. We didn't push.
We pushed no one.
No, it wasn't like George Costanza leaving during the fire. But we did. I did. As soon as the house lights came on, I said, all right, let's head to merch. And so you saw Mom's Herb Alpert. I got the Tijuana Brass shirt. And it was just a really fun night. The video screens really made it fun with the clips from the 60s and the 70s. Again, he did all the stuff he did. A song that he did for Clark's Chewing Gum, like T-Berry Gum, which they showed clips of the old commercials for that. Casino Royale. He did a song from the 80s or the 70s called Rise.
Oh, yeah.
Where he had like a disco ball on the screen behind him. And
the dating game theme song.
And people cheered for that. It was great. About 90 minutes, we were back at my house. Mom stayed with us last night. We were back home well before 11 o'clock. And wonderful night seeing Herb Alpert and his new Tijuana Brass Band. So hopefully he has...
It rose to the top real quick. That was the concert.
It was very good.
Of course, when we go to concerts, we often get in the car and I think that's going to be one of the top. That's got to be one of the top. But when you see somebody 91, we felt this way when we saw John Prine, and when, God bless him, when he danced off the stage, we felt the same way. It's just you're being invited to this artist who is comfortable with letting you know he has aged or she has aged in their craft, and not trying to hide it, not trying to deny it, but just embracing it. And it just feels so warm and comfortable. It's just, I loved it.
She feels the same way when she sees me play.
Pretty much.
And
and he's going to feel that way when I dance out of his house. So I'm just going to kind of.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank my mom for joining me on her first video.
You're very welcome.
And we're going to talk about Herb probably for a while. after that show. So I encourage you, if you can, to go see him. Check out his tour dates online and all that good stuff. And if you're collecting his records, they are in every record store, and they're all really, really good, especially these early Tijuana Brass records. So that does it for us. As I say, in the meantime, y'all be good. Take care.
Take care.
And we will see
you on the next one. No.
Cheers.